Welcome back to Daily Dose of Devotional. Today, we're going back into the Old Testament looking again at 2 Kings, this time in chapter 4, verses 1 to 7. In a time of great need and desperation, a widow found herself in a dire situation. Her husband, a man from the company of the prophets, had passed away, leaving her with a heavy burden of debt. To make matters worse, her creditors were demanding payment, and she had no resources left to meet their demands. The widow was in anguish, fearing that her 2 sons would be taken as slaves to settle the debt. In her distress, she sought help from Elisha, a faithful prophet of God. She poured out her heart to him, explaining her predicament and her fear of losing her children. Elisha, a man of great compassion and faith, listened to the widow's plea and offered her guidance. He asked her a simple yet pivotal question. "What do you have in your house?" The widow, after a moment of reflection, responded, "Your servant has nothing there at all, except a small jar of olive oil." Elisha, moved by faith, gave her instructions. He told her to gather as many empty containers as she could from her neighbors. Then, in the privacy of her home, she was to pour the oil from her jar into the empty containers, setting aside those that were filled. The widow followed Elisha's guidance without hesitation. As she poured the oil, she witnessed a miraculous sight. The small jar of oil seemed never to run dry, and it filled container after container. She continued pouring until every container was filled to the brim. She said to her son, "Bring me another one." But he replied, "There is not a jar left." Then the oil stopped flowing. Elisha then instructed the widow to sell the oil and pay off her debt. He also advised her to use the remaining proceeds to provide for herself and her sons. The widow, now blessed with an abundance of oil, followed Elisha's guidance faithfully. The story of Elisha and the widow's oil serves as a powerful reminder of God's provision and the miraculous nature of His blessings. It highlights the importance of faith and obedience in times of distress and illustrates how a seemingly insignificant resource, when placed in God's hands, can lead to abundance. The widow's story is one of hope, faith, and the power of God's grace, demonstrating that even in the darkest moments, His provision can bring light and deliverance. As you go through your day today, try to take a few moments to thank God for what He's done in your life and the plans He has for you. Find joy knowing that we have a Father in God who's always here for us, waiting for us to call out for Him. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.